if we're the first, but happy birthday, Benjamin. And I had a birthday a week ago too. So I continue to have very mixed feelings about that sort of thing. It tends to just make me aware of the passing of time, and sometimes I find that troubling, and sometimes I don't care, but it can be a little poignant sometimes. I've spent a lot of time thinking about the subject of how do I deal with what's in front of my nose. Yeah, for me, things like a birthday do make that particularly poignant, prescient. It's fun to be reminded that time is an illusion, but most of the time it seems like it's passing, and it kind of seems like the world is literally and figuratively on fire in ways that seem more acute than I felt like it was most of the previous half of my life. And there's something about that that makes it seem like time is passing even faster. I know at least three people right now who has someone in their family that's dying. And there's nothing quite like watching someone get very, very close to the exit door to remind oneself about the passage of time and what might or might not constitute a life well lived or a moment well appreciated or things like that. And when we combine that with the otherwise chaos of our world, I just end up reminded over and over, it's not so much about trying to somehow craft and create the perfect life here. There's nothing wrong with going after what one wants. Boy, at the end of the day, it's a dualistic world. Some shit's probably going to work out. Some shit probably isn't. We're going to end up with both. There's going to be pleasure and pain. And even in the places where it's gone sideways, can I find any window at all, any way at all to meet that with still some presence, some love, something still and grounded. And I can't find any way to do it without reaching beyond this dimension. It's the only thing that seems to make it possible to be sane here. It's not necessarily the outward form. Did I do the thing or did I not do the thing? Well, sometimes doing the thing is the thing. Sometimes not doing the thing is the thing, which it just reminds me again and again, it's not so much about the specifics of what was done out here. It has far more to do with what was the ground I was standing on for the decision in the first place. From what place was I meeting that moment and taking whatever the action is?
Well, for the last month, I've been helping out a new friend of mine move.
Yeah.
But a month ago, her husband died,
Oh
so
boy.
she couldn't afford the apartment anymore. And then last week, her dog died,
Oh dear.
and then 2 days ago, her mother died. Sometimes these things happen in threes.
It's definitely it rains, it pours
For
situation.
her, definitely, yes.
Mhm.
So I'm really glad I can help her out. It's the old
Okay.
friend in need is a friend indeed. I feel honored.
I don't have any doubt that you're doing a great job of that, Chris.
I'm trying.
I'm sure it has a lot more to do with your presence than it does with packing boxes,
Yeah,
and a little bit with packing boxes.
and some hand holding and whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
a lot of boxes, a whole lot of boxes.
gotcha. I'm picturing your friend there, Chris, and you know how those worldly things, bodily things, physical things are so incredible at taking our attention. at least it can seem to disrupt that connection that someone might otherwise feel with spirit. If that pain in their own physical body is just screaming at them, I understand how sometimes talking about what's beyond these physical limitations can seem terribly abstract and therefore distant and difficult to connect with. And I'm imagining that someone like your friend, while you were packing boxes and moving, might be just really, really concerned with what is literally and physically right in front of her nose. And that's, you know, these things could seem highly philosophical and utterly lacking in practical utility. And yet, I still must maintain, and I say so from my own very direct experience, that even though these physical things can take our attention so powerfully, and nothing does it like physical pain or difficulty or emotional pain or difficulty. And yet, my God, it is still possible when we avert our eyes and we lift our gaze upon that pain for just a split second, even. Sometimes the space in between is so small. I mean, it really is like a glimmer of light coming through a door barely cracked. It just becomes possible to see that there is something beyond it, and that pain and that suffering simply isn't the whole story. And that's the only way I've ever gotten through those times, really.